Okay, I will start because we have quite a tight schedule, and we have quite a lot of presentations. So we start at 9 European time. Welcome to the training session 2 of the Innovation as a Service project. The topic of today's training is the human resources and personnel. I'm Andrej Mihajlovic from ADP ZID Montenegro. We are one of the members of the team that composed this training. So I will go quickly through the slides. Thanks to Luke, who provided these slides for me. So they were presented the last time. I extended it a little bit to suit this training. So I will quickly guide you through the introduction and then give the microphone to the first speaker. Some words for people who are joining us externally outside the project. What is the Innovation as a Service project for the Danube region? What do we do? The project is termed Innovation as a Service. It's about accelerated innovation and industrial transition. It's relevant to industrial, rural, and remote areas in the Danube region with low innovation capacity. The overall objectives of the project is to try to improve the innovation services by developing an integrated innovation service support. We call it an innovation node in each region, in each member or project partner. And this is envisaged through a synergy of different service providers that are complementing each other, and that is planned and created as something that can extend and go significantly beyond what the individual partners within their region can do on their own with their limited resources. We have typical challenges identified in these innovation environments, and some of them are in the slide, such as the skilled worker, the structural problems in the innovation ecosystem, the lack of risk culture, and so on. So the project, I won't go with much detail into this, but just to give you the layout of the project for the external partner, as I said, external joinees who are attending this call, we have the specific objectives, and we have the three work packages. The first work package is about trying to figure out what and how do we do things at the moment, what are our needs from a general point of view. And the second work package, which is relevant to this training, is to start building this transnational capacity building program for the professionals in Innovation as a Service project and part of the innovation node. And later on, we've just started this activity, we will do the pilot implementation. You go. So I won't go much into the explanation of the work packages. We are here now, which is the work package 2, and in the highlighted area, you can see a part of this activity on capacity building is the training that we are conducting now. This is the second training in the series of training in the project. You can see the list of them that we have. There are two types of training. The core training being conducted now, and then we will have advanced training later on some more complex topics, such as technology transfer and so on. So actually, let me go back just to one slide to say if I can find it. Maybe not. Okay. Anyway, it will be obvious in the slides. So the four partners we have today are going to talk about innovation as a service, and we've identified the three pillars of the innovation as a service, human resources and personnel in this training. And they are the pillar one, which is when an organization tries to support its all and improve its all dealings with innovation, so it improves its activities and capacities. The second one is trying to improve the innovators itself. So it's engaging and unlocking the full potential of the innovators. That's the pillar 2. And finally, pillar 3 is trying to improve the people and industry or public institution or public sector or whomever would actually need this innovation. So these are the 3 pillars, the 3 angles on the developing of the HR and personnel towards the innovation. Towards innovation is the service objectives. And that's it, basically. Here's the agenda. So I will quickly give the microphone. My 5 minutes are gone. I will quickly give the microphone to the guys from the Romanian funding agency who will start first. Then we will have the people from TERA Tehnopolis from Croatia. We will have the Austrian aid with the WS, the Austrian agency with presentation. And finally, we will have from ADPZ Montenegro, we will have the presentation from Professor Radovan Stojanovic on the topics you can see here. Basically, some presentations have the explanations of the training tool, which are more like tools, like the Romanian funding agency tools, like Innovation Cafe, Brain Map, the experience from the project. And some presentations, the Austrian partners will have a similar one on the tools, and the other partners will give you a fuller story, such as the TERA's presentation by Alexander and Professor Stojanovic. Also, they will give you like a conceptual approach to HR and personnel. So this is our agenda. I won't spend much time on it. I will give a 5 minutes and 2 minutes before the end indication to all the partners. We will have a break in the meantime. And because it's a tight presentation, we hope to have the questions at the end. We can stay a bit longer if needed. You're free to interrupt the speakers and ask quick questions, but we can have a full discussion at the end. So that's it from me. And Luca, you can take over.
Good morning. Today we'd like to share some inspiring cases from our agency, and to start our presentation I'll give the floor to my colleague Marius. Marius, please.
Yeah. Hi, can you help me with the presentation, please?
Yes. It's okay?
Yeah, it's great. I can see it. Thank you all for being here. Today we're going to talk a bit about building innovation communities together with my colleague Radovan. So I will give you a short overview on how we did it and how we actually looked at building innovation communities, and they will talk about the actual examples and use cases that we did. Just as an introduction, as I told you, we need to understand how it works and why we're going to do it and what is the actual impact. But before that, I think it's very important to look at the overall innovation ecosystem and how it actually works, because an innovation community is mainly a smaller ecosystem. And if you look at the innovation ecosystem, you'll see that we have at least 6 main pillars, where you have the policy side with government agencies and local administration. You have the funding side with public-private funding, and you have in the private part, you have the business angels, the venture capital, and the banks. In the public, usually we have some system of grants. And another good, great and interesting component where the innovation communities have great impact is on the innovation culture. And this is very important, and I will discuss a bit later about it. Another very, very important pillar is human capital, which is usually brought by knowledge providers like universities, research institutes, and the unseen side is the support infrastructure, where we have accelerator hubs and communities. Each innovation ecosystem is more defined by its markets. And if you are looking, you have the local market, which is in each of our countries or regions, and you also have the European and the international market. to
I apologize. Is it possible maybe to use headphones because sounds is very bad and it's very difficult to follow. Sorry to interrupt you, even from ADPZ.
Yeah.
So maybe it's okay to for everyone to follow you.
Let me see. Just 1 second. I am using headphones, so let me. Is this better?
I'm not quite sure.
So I'm using headphones.
Now it's okay. It's better a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it better? Great. So moving forward on the impact of innovation communities and why they are really, really important is that each innovation community creates demand. They're used to scale solutions, and the most important part is that they're building an innovation culture. And the biggest asset of innovation communities is actually solving complex challenges and creating trust, knowledge sharing, and also is an amazing source of creativity. And of course, can you go back, please? Okay, thank you. So I think that the most important power of communities is that they catalyze expertise around critical subject, so they therefore becoming engines of progress. And their main quality, they're able to create partnership through trust, and they're able to solve societal challenges. And as I told you earlier, we do have different innovation pillars, and the innovation communities is actually the glue, glue that actually keeps all these actors together, and they create trust between them, so they are able to actually work together. And there are two main critical resources that innovation communities have, and they're able to use to solve this problem. And they are the human capital and time or resilience. So you can solve any problems with these two, and you can gather a lot of resources around it. And my colleagues will talk later about the, can you go to the next slide, please? About the our examples. And of course, you have innovation communities that are around thematic subjects, like we have like in CDR Europe, which is a project that we have a community around corporate digital responsibility, and we have different other communities on gender equality. And we were able to build another community called M100 and capacities around smart cities and sustainable urban development, which are working to support the European mission on climate neutrality. And my colleagues will actually talk about some use cases in our portfolio, like Innovation Cafe, like Brainmet platform, and the Unite project working groups. But what is important actually in understanding innovation communities is that they are not only individuals, but they are also organizations and institutions that share the same goal. And by sharing the same goal, having different resources, they're able to find creative solutions to that. Looking back to our portfolio of projects, we'll see that the innovation community that we created were able to actually generate a lot of resources and problem solving around different subjects that the funding agency, in our case, had, from developing new funding instruments or to developing new policies around innovation, technology transfer, and entrepreneurship. Can you go to the next slide, please? Now, there are different models of cooperation, and this is just, let's say, a small comparison, but you'll see that you have collaboration which are around a common goal or a project, and you'll also have clusters that are around, let's say, a specific geography, and you have innovation communities that are not bound on this, but they are bound on the idea that they can solve different issues using their inside expertise. And of course, there are different type of structures and focus, but the most important part is the type of collaboration. And innovation communities have a long-term relationship and continuous knowledge sharing, and that will actually help generate more solutions and to be able to stay ahead of issues, of societal issues, being a bottom-up approach in problem solving. Go to the next slide, please. Now, what is see the key characteristics of successful innovation communities, and we actually wrote down a few of them, and it's about the capacity and the openness and inclusivity that you are able to bring together all the involved stakeholders, including if they are competitors in the same area, to be able to share knowledge. Based on that, we saw that all this collaboration will create enough trust, and people will adapt and will definitely try to solve the issue and will try to put aside all other things. Now, definitely an innovation community needs a clear purpose and shared goals, so that then all the actors, even if they are institutional actors or government or other organizations, will be able to put resources in order to solve the project. So the purpose and the shared goals are really, really important. Another let's say asset of the innovation community is that it's able to use tools, to share tools in order to solve different issues. Now, there is due to the geopolitical, situation nowadays, the research security is one of the most, let's say, important subject that popped up in the last, let's say, 2 years or so. And I saw that there are a lot of innovation communities around Europe that are trying to look at research security as an issue from different point of views. And that generated a lot of solutions and understanding around this subject. Oh, thank you. Can you? Okay, so this was like a short overview of the innovation community and how they work. And my colleagues will take over and talk about the use cases that we actually have in our agency. Thank you. Karka, can you take over?
Yes, so thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you, as I said earlier. And in the next minutes, I would like to share 2 inspiring cases from our experience. And then my colleague Oana will complete with a very recent experience we have from an Horizon Europe project, Regional Innovation Valley. But first of all, I would like to present you the Innovation Cafe and the BrainMap platform, which are examples of how stakeholder engagement can transform local and regional innovation landscape, not just in Romania, but at the interregional level. So starting with the Innovation Cafe, this is an initiative launched by our organization 12 years ago, and it's a framework that connects stakeholders in Romania's innovation ecosystem, including entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers, academia, and civil society. It's a model that demonstrates how informal and dynamic environments can foster dialogue and partnership. And it is about an event that was recognized by the European Commission as a good practice example. And in terms of how we organize it, we start with the objective to facilitate dialogue among stakeholders. Also, we aim to develop and to contribute to the development of regional or national competitiveness. And we have various events, event components. We start with a welcome and introduction. Then we have presentation and case studies and expert insights. We have thematic panels and Q&A session. And a session that is very important from our point of view, it's providing networking opportunities, informal exchange during coffee breaks, or even cocktail frameworks. So we think that Innovation Cafe, it's had a lot of impact. Because we succeeded to have broad stakeholder engagement. We have more than 1,000 participants from various sectors, from academia, civil society, and industry, that have participated in our events, sharing insights and building trust within the innovation ecosystem. It's a flexible and inclusive format, from targeted case studies presentation to thematic discussion panel and Q&A session. The Innovation Cafe created opportunities for dialogue, and participants live with some action, very concrete action in mind, and connection rather than just ideas. And we think this is very important in order to solve concrete issues and challenges. And it's a model that had a proven impact because its success is evident. It inspired a lot of studies at the EU level, the policy support facility activity, but also a lot of national studies like Romanian entrepreneurship ecosystem analysis. And it inspired dialogue for key initiatives like the Leaders in Innovation Fellowship Programme by the UK Royal Academy of Engineering, and provided valuable policy recommendations shaping Romania's innovation strategies. We think that our model is replicable because we have some lessons learned, and these are focused on how inclusivity matters, because it's very important to create a space where we have diverse voices that can be heard, and this can lead to holistic solutions. We have this trust that Marius mentioned earlier, because regular events ensure that participants see value in returning, and we have relevance that conduct to engagement, because we have discussion about current challenges which are of our interest. We think that it's very important that Innovation Cafe create a space that connects participants both online and offline, because during COVID time, for example, we had some online examples, and in this manner we succeeded in staying in contact with our main stakeholders. In terms of our two second case studies, it's the BrainMap platform. It's also a platform that was developed by our organization. It was launched in 2016 as a tool for evaluating research projects, but now it's an online community of innovators, researchers, entrepreneurs, policymakers, and investors. We can say that it's one of the Romanian largest innovation platforms because it has more than 64,000 users. And this is a very apart platform because it's user-centric design. It offers a tailored future for community. It was updated based on community feedback, and this ensures it remains relevant and aligned with the changing needs of the users. And it's very important that we had succeeded to have global collaboration because we have on the platform both Romanian and international experts. And in this way, we can bridge the territorial gaps, and we can create an interconnected innovation ecosystem. The initial launch was focused on transparent evaluation processes for founding research projects. Then we have new features for collaboration and knowledge sharing based on user experience. And in order to develop such a platform, we needed human resources, of course, for development, support, and maintenance of the platform. We need funding that was mainly from European sources. And of course, we need to assure that we have the technology necessary to operate a smooth operation constantly. In terms of impact in action, we think that we had some lessons learned because it's very important to start with a clear purpose and then to expand as needs evolve. It's very important to use technology to bridge the gap among diverse stakeholders. It's very important to use the feedback of the participants and to improve the platform or the way in which the community operates. It's important to have a user-friendly engagement. And we think that in terms of impact on innovation ecosystem, it's very important to notice that the platform enhance the Romanian research and innovation ecosystems because it's important both for project evaluation, but also for fostering collaboration across sector. We have a lot of Romanian and international experts connected. We have improved transparency in research project evaluation. We have facilitated collaboration and resource access with the research and innovation communities, and we have contributed to strengthening the Romanian's innovation ecosystem. And we think that it's a model that can be adaptable to various organizational and ecosystem needs, that can foster collaboration, accessibility, and inclusivity to build a successful innovation ecosystem. We think that both Innovation Cafe and BrainMed platform illustrate how informal and formal, both informal and formal platforms can address concrete challenges in the ecosystem, can foster collaboration, and in the end can drive innovation. And they showcase the importance of adaptability, inclusivity, and the importance of building communities based on trust. And the model aren't just limited to Romania because they offer valuable blueprints for other regions, we think. Whether it's creating an informal space or framework for dialogue like the Innovation Cafe, or a very concrete digital hub or platform like BrainMap platform, we think these two case studies show that with the right design and dedication, we can build ecosystem and empower communities on a global scale. So we think that we can can take this lesson learned forward, and we can drive progress and growth based on this. And now I'll give the floor to my colleague Oana to present the Unite project case studies. Oana, please.
Yes, Raluca, thank you so much. If you can please share the next slide.
Can you see it?
Yes, now I can. Good morning, everybody. My name is Vala Ionescu. I'm part of the Romanian Funding Agency, and I'm happy to present to you today one of our newest projects. It's called Unite, and it's a project that is aiming to transform the healthcare through deep digital tech innovation. It is a very large European project with a consortium from 6 European regions. And the general purpose of the project is to try and address some of the main challenges that Europe is facing nowadays in terms of medical services and health systems. And these problems are very various, starting with aging population and going all the way to the healthcare workforce shortages that most countries experience today. And all these challenges are affecting and impacting in a negative way the health ecosystem in Europe, and they need, of course, very innovative solutions and as quickly as possible. So this is where the technical part is coming to try and address some of these problems. So the project started last autumn. It's new. And what they are trying to do is to organize open calls for proposal, and using the type of cascade funding, which I think some of you are familiar with, they will fund projects, interregional projects that are focused on the development and the delivering of medical solutions for the European health ecosystem. What is important is in these calls, the consortium will support as many startups and SMEs and scales up as possible, because we think that besides large companies, there is a very high potential of innovation and medical discovery in the startups, in the younger, let's say, generation of companies that are emerging on the market. Of course, in this between these European regions, there are different levels of maturity in terms of medical healthcare and innovation. So this project will also try to bridge some of these innovation gaps and overall to enhance the Europe's global competitiveness and try to secure an equal access to healthcare for European citizens. The project has quite a large budget, 20 million euros, and more than half of it will be dedicated to these proposal calls that I have mentioned above. The regions, the countries that are involved in the consortium are Denmark, Greece, Italy, Poland, Romania, and Scotland. Next slide, please, Raluca. And what is the novelty of this project is the fact that they have organized what we call ecosystem working groups. These are groups that reunite members from all the regions, and their role is to foster collaboration and innovation and knowledge transfer across region. They try to address the strategic operational objectives of the project and align the regional strengths of all the consortium partners. There are 8 working groups in the project. You see on the slide their names, and they are pretty much self-explanatory. I won't go into details. You will see more information about them in the training materials that you'll have access to in the next days. So what is their main purpose? They are designed to facilitate interregional collaboration and innovation in key sectors. They connect regional stakeholders from various domains, and they form a collaborative space for sharing expertise and to advance innovation and to develop solutions that meet both regional and European challenges. Each working group has a specific thematic area and it has the goal to address those strategic operational objectives of the project, like I said before. How do we form these working groups? Each partner region is doing a mapping of the main stakeholders of its region, and it's proposing a list of minimum 5 to 10 persons. So in total, a working group has around 30 and more experts. They reunite regularly in online and physical meetings, and they are addressing the main challenge of, let's say, their thematic group. Each working group is led by a chairman or a chairperson, to be more specifically, and they also are helped by what we call group activists, which in essence are community managers, and their role is to help engage the members of the working group and to help them find solutions to the challenges that they are presented with. The working groups are following very closely the progress of the project, and they reunite also in events that are organized during the project. So they, even if they are not part of the working team of the project, they are very closely connected to the project. And what is the most important thing when mapping these experts is the fact that they are very much involved in the topic, in the specific topic of the working group. So for instance, the first working group, which is called Startups and Scale-Ups, this one is composed of representatives of startups hubs, of venture capital companies, entrepreneurs, universities, spin-off centers, or other types of SME support services organizations. So they are very much interested in the topic. They do this as a daily job, for instance, and of course they are motivated to be part of the working group and to provide support for the project. What is the contribution to the project? These working groups are acting as innovation communities. So their main purpose is to facilitate the interregional coordination. Why is that? Because each region knows best its strengths and weaknesses. And more important, the consortium benefits from the fact that the regions come together and work closely to strengthen the advantages that they have. Another important contribution is the fact that they gather together representatives from all types of what we call the quadruple helix: government, academia, industry, and civil society. And of course, it's a novelty. They are also adding representatives from the public procurement organizations, because like I said, the project is about organizing open calls for medtech solutions. So it's very important to understand the challenges and the differences of the public procurement models in all regions. What they do most is the fact that they enhance the knowledge transfer and exchange. So they share best practices, they share research results and the expertise of regions. And of course, they help to build capacity and to engage in peer learning, because like I said, these working groups are formed of experts in their own field, and they are the most, let's say, reliable when it comes to explain what is the novelty in their field and what is something that needs to be addressed. Of course, they provide support for the project. That's the purpose of being established, and they contribute directly to have the results that we expect and we want at the end of the project. They offer advice on technical assessments, they facilitate the project, the proposal development, and overall they have a very strong role in the successful execution of the project. We think that these working groups have a real potential for transfer, and like I said, they present a framework for interregional collaboration because they operate as a bridge between regional ecosystems and they foster interregional cooperation. The fact that they have thematic focus is something that allows them to be flexible and to easily adapt to all the topics and the development of new fields. And of course, this is also a quality that can be replicated in other sectors. So overall, this is something that we think that the working groups are a robust model for fostering innovation communities, and they can be replicated and adapted, of course, to the situation and specific conditions of other projects or ecosystems. Thank you for your attention. If you have questions, please write them in the chat and we'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, so just to sum up our presentation so far, so definitely collaboration is key to innovation and to create trust, to give enough say room for people to experiment and to be able to create solutions to any issues around the subject. And my colleagues presented 3 totally different examples of innovation communities and where they actually created impact. And definitely we have the Innovation Cafe, which was a great example of creating a framework for dialogue and idea exchange. We have BrainMap, which is a totally different approach on creating an online community around researchers, innovations, and entrepreneurs. And then, of course, we have the Unite project that actually is hands-on funding to solve different, let's say, future challenges on medtech scene. And all of these were created through the power of communities. And again, I think I need to stress the collective power that it's let's say a key to create impact and to have resilience. And as I said earlier, to have the human resources and time needed to solve different issues. I think these are the main key takeaways that we would like to leave you with. And if you have any questions for us, I think that now it's a good time to answer them.
I think Borut had the question. It's in the chat. Also gave it 10 minutes without interrupting you. It's in the chat, so because they.
Okay, so Innovation Cafe, the duration of the event, how frequently once a year, once in 6 months. So when we started this kind of event, we did it twice a year, and it was because we were generating the ideas that we wanted to discuss it. But after that. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. So after that, we started getting questions from our stakeholders, and we started creating different Innovation Cafe based on those questions. And it wasn't just twice a year, it was on request based. And if we have a subject that we needed to actually debate and ask the community on we were creating that event. And the duration is actually a few hours in a very light and collaborative framework. We try to go out of our offices, try to find different like hubs or collaborative spaces that are more creative and inspiring, and people will feel free, you know, to outside of this real, you know, rigid framework that, because we are a public agency, so yeah, we needed to get out of that. Other questions?
Okay. Yeah. Rather than putting it on the chat, maybe I can ask like this. I just
Sure.
want,
Yeah.
Yeah. For you as the agency, funding agency, what particularly have you? How did you improve through? Because my question is also mostly on the innovation cafe. It's really interesting. How did you grow through that process? Did you get some feedback, talking to people, raising these topics in the innovation cafe? Did you expand it? For example, did you discover some common points between the innovators and the industry or public sector and the stakeholders and things like that?
Yeah, so I think the most important part that we actually did was to take all that feedback and implement it back in our funding instruments and our future funding instruments. So once we understand their need, we were able to translate that into our funding instruments. And that created a lot of trust between us and the community because their voices were heard. And then they actually came up with other ideas for us. And I think this is how it works. So once we had, and what is very important is that the Innovation Cafe were not like, you know, presentation types of events. There were panel types of events where people discussed different topics and everybody was involved in the discussion. So it was not something that was presented to them, but it's more about a communication type event. So it was important to be a small one. And that was a challenge because after a few events, we had so many people that wanted to attend them. And we needed to actually have, you know, I said, okay, for this subject, we only needed 40 people. Actually, more than 30 people is actually hard to have a proper discussion. Yeah, it's a different challenge than once it becomes successful. Yeah.
Okay, so are there more questions we can ask like this from the people in the training? Okay, so we can leave later on if we want to have a bit more discussion. Thank you guys. It was very interesting. Quite a lot of angles on what you do and the human resources and personnel aspects of the innovation development. So we are right on schedule, which is good. So without much ado, I can just call Alexander from TERA to take the microphone and.
Hi. Okay. Thank you, Andrei. Let me see if I can share this. Is it shared? Can you stop? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Presentation is visible?
Yeah, it's fine for me.
Okay. So you see the white slide, linear approach to innovation support, okay? Fine, thank you. So hi everyone, my name is Alexander Kovac, and today I'll be presenting this lecture on linear approach to innovation support. I'm an expert associate at TERA Tehnopolis in Osijek, Croatia. TERA is a business support organization founded by the Osijek-Baranja County, City of Osijek, and University of Osijek. We are a self-supported organization. We are focusing on technology transfer, digitalization, and providing business support to SMEs. My primary field is design science. I have completed my master's and doctoral studies at Kyoto Institute of Technology, thanks to the scholarship awarded by the government of Japan. In my work in Japan and Europe, I've been leading or taking part in multidisciplinary projects, designing together cultures, experiences, products, and information that would lay out organizations' guiding philosophy for the next 5 to 10 years. So today, I will speak about contexts that influence the human resources when we're supporting innovation. So the topic of this lecture is a linear approach to innovation support. This lecture is meant for organization that is supporting innovation, but also for smaller innovation teams. I will aim to offer an alternative for getting things done efficiently, especially in smaller regions or rural regions such as ours. It follows Kaizen. It's a human-centered and human-oriented, low-cost, common-sense approach to doing things. Approaching innovation support is a pretty self-explanatory, I hope. The part that might not be as clear is the linear approach part. What could be a linear approach? Well, a linear approach would be an approach which is simpler, more direct, and also more efficient than some approach we used before. So a linear approach would be an approach that is significantly reducing the wastes, but still provides value. Now, these terms, lean, simple, direct, efficient, reducing waste, providing value, are embedded in this Japanese philosophy of doing things called Kaizen. I'm sure many of you know about Kaizen, and more than few of you have used it. Actually, I'm pretty sure that many of you used it in some degree, but maybe were not aware of that. So explaining the whole philosophy is beyond our time today, and frankly, beyond my expertise. So instead, I'll use some, in my opinion, fundamental concepts from this philosophy and lay down a framework to present practical, applicable points to support this philosophy. I'm sure you will recognize a lot of topics that I mentioned today. Also, I'm sure that many topics will seem simple, maybe even trivial, but that is good. That's exactly what I want to accomplish. As you'll see, they're meant to be simple and trivial. So, before we go deeper in Kaizen, let's step back and talk about the reasons, the need for a linear approach to innovation support. Innovation support organizations, like other organizations, they solve things and increase their efficiency by streamlining, rationalizing, and formalizing their operations. They will formalize their organizational structure, for example. They will streamline their processes and tools, and so on. So the goal there is to achieve a successful repeatability and optimize the use of their resources at the same time. A simplified diagram is on the left. But now, if we look at the innovative or innovation projects, on the other hand, they're nothing like that. They are leapy. They're, successful innovative projects solve things by applying non-standard, lateral, out-of-the-box thinking. They have creative flows, creative skips and leaps, and innovative or innovation projects approach solutions in a unique way, which is precisely what makes them innovative, right? So each innovation project will bring its own unique special structure and project goals, their own risks and benefits, knowns, unknowns, preparedness and readiness, inspiration, frustration, and so on. So this specific uniqueness that the innovation projects bring is actually a problem for support organizations that support innovation and that are streamlined. And I'm sure many of you have felt this way, have encountered this feeling, but it's understandable that from perspective of the innovator, supporting organization might appear as a lifeless kind of administrative machine that could fail to deliver the support that is needed when is needed. And likewise, from the perspective of the support organization, the innovation project might appear to be disorganized, badly prepared, messy dreamers, you know, with their heads in the clouds and so on. So there are so few common points between these two approaches that one can even say that maybe they're not compatible at all. So what can we do with this? We cannot expect support organizations to support every need of innovation project. This would, require immense resources and produce lots of wastes when those resources are not utilized. And even then, we would not be sure whether the resources we have matter in any way to specific needs of various innovation projects. Right? Or maybe we might be tempted to try and shape the innovation process, take it and make it all orderly and proper so it looks more like a conventional organization, right? Thinking that by shaping it in that way, we can bring the innovative project back into some kind of familiar zone, comfort zone, so that we can comfortably work with certainty and be blessed with the manageable process and outcomes. But of course, innovation doesn't work like that. So again, what can we do? So when we want to maximize the benefits of human collaboration between the innovation project and the organization supporting the innovation, a common ground, a shared understanding must exist between these two, right? I will call this a shared zone. Such a shared zone is an abstract space in which both parties, the supporting organization and innovation project, can contribute directly and with understanding towards this common goal. But still, both sides keep their characteristics and they benefit from their own approach. However, in practice, establishing such a zone can really be challenging. So the key question is, what can we do? Working in Japan for quite well-established corporations, I would often hear, we have the know-how and we have the production power and we have access to materials, we have the market presence. But the big question is, what can we do with it? Now, since I have been working with the small and medium companies in Croatia, these small companies often say something like, we do not have the necessary know-how, we do not have the production muscle, it's hard to get the right materials, and we have no market presence. So the big question is actually exactly the same. What can we do with it? So here comes Kaizen. Kaizen is one option that we could take, and it's a pretty peaceful option. It won't fight any other methodologies we have. It's a philosophy. It started in a post-Second World War manufacturing in Japan. Those were poor years, but it seems it has a very broad applicability. No matter the phase of the work you are in or the scale of the work, it does not even matter which field you are in. It's a approach to continuous improvement. It's human-centered, it's human-oriented, it's low cost, and it's common sense. Or it tries to be. The word itself has two parts. The first is kai. It means something circular, something done in repetition, something like you do once over. And the Zen part is the idea of goodness, very much like the idea of goodness in ethics. So Kaizen are acts of improvement applied repeatedly, so kind of re-improvement or changing for better. And it's often translated as continuous improvement. However, I feel that this translation lacks a little bit of characteristics of repeating. Maybe it would be more appropriate to call it iterative improvement. I don't know. Anyway, so it's, you see, Kaizen is not linear in progress. And it's not either like this, cyclic or circular, but like this image in the right, it's a helix. I think it's a brilliant concept that harnesses both concepts, linear and circularity, and allows us to constantly go forward, but also revise what we've done before very often. Typically, it's done by small changes that add up. It's the small things, but it adds up nicely and leads to significant improvements. So, but the same applies negatively. Small problems, if left unattended, will grow big, which leads us to the first important message today. To make things better, don't wait for them to break down, improve anytime. I don't know if you're familiar with the American principle of if it, don't fix it if it ain't broke. So this is completely different. Anytime, at any place, we can make a small improvement and it will be okay. The very important concepts in this are concepts of value and waste. Value is considered anything that the end user considers worth paying for. That's value. And when we say user is paying for, that does not mean only money. Our customers, for example, the companies we provide support to, they spend their time with our support organization, right? So they're paying their time to us. And we are spending their time with customers. So that time has value. The energy has value, peace of mind, knowledge, experience, happiness, all of that is kind of a value. So value is anything our client considers worth striving for, paying for. Waste, on the other hand, is anything that is not bringing value, right? So there are many kinds of wastes. For example, you can waste time, you can waste money, you can waste material, you can waste ideas, and so on. If we take this into account, anything that's not bringing value in collaboration between an innovation project and us, the support organization, can be considered a wasteful or relation. The other key pair of concepts are direct and simple, and they seem to be ubiquitous in Kaizen, and no wonder. If we understand the concepts of value and waste, these two concepts come naturally. As we will see later, these two concepts are continuously embedded and weaved into Kaizen approach. Direct refers to ability to do things directly in a straightforward manner without unnecessary action, without waste along the way. For example, if we're gaining insights through direct observation or access data directly, or we are directly involved in the process or directly engaged with customers, users, and problems, that's that concept. You're familiar with that. Simple and simplicity, well, ability to do things simply in uncomplicated manner. And this concept is also very highly regarded, and no wonder, because doing things simply reduces the possibility of waste generation. It also makes easier to see the potential benefits and the problems during the innovation process. So things are done efficiently when done in a simple and direct manner. that is the essence of linear approach. Of course, we cannot expect organizations and the innovators to come with a perfect, simple, and direct narrative when they interact. So, because articulation of ideas, especially during innovation processes, which deal with ideas that are not completed, not perfect, not finished, that articulation is very hard. However, we can apply some tricks and methods to allow us to communicate and interact more simply and in more direct fashion. So, just a second. Which brings me to some tools and methods. Gemba, Japanese word, but it's not important. What is important? It means the actual place. So of the event where some things are happening with your team, and it demonstrates the power of this simple method through direct observation and direct engagement. Through direct observation, we are able to catch and process a huge number of small points of improvement. Doing it daily or twice a week is especially beneficial, and these small things always add up nicely. In the field of innovation, this Gemba walk, or going to the actual place, might be actually a walk to your development lab, or the place where our target users are, or the production place, or to daily creative meetings, experimentation, prototyping, and so on. So this kind of direct observation leads to deeper understanding. The whole team starts sharing the deeper understanding of the process. And that's beneficial for both supporting organization and innovation project. That allows us to start communicating in that shared zone more easily. It also involves team. It empowers them. It recognizes their superpowers. Also, it provides opportunity for frustrations and inspirations to come out, and those are huge drivers for innovation. And it develops culture of empowerment and contribution. The anti-patterns are things that we do when we're facing common problems, things that we commonly do when we're facing common problems, but that are not beneficial or maybe are counterproductive, would be, instead of doing this daily check in person, would be to sit in the office and try to communicate virtually ideas or problems, because if we're doing that, we will inevitably have to remove a lot of information that we can experience only in person. Direct visualization is the next method I would like to talk about. It's a general principle to choose visual methods rather than data, raw data or numerical linguistic descriptives. So, as I will try to show, capture moments in the photos and use them as idea carriers to exchange. And this is very common method. Sometimes it's called a JK method or a card game or whatever. But the thing, the emphasis here is to use visual methods. As you can see, drawing and capturing ideas this way is much richer than any kind of digitalized databases that have lots of data, but that are not so direct and simple to experience. So in supporting innovation projects, ensuring that we provide or teach them how to do this is very beneficial. You can also use these fast methods such as paper prototypes, rapid prototypes, or acting out to accomplish the same thing. I will move on to the next principle. It's the principle of lean tools, and that means use simpler, more direct tools. When we're communicating, we've noticed that communication using chat and forums, I mean, if we're not in person, is beneficial. Splitting online communication on many platforms, as we all know, is not useful. So we are trying to keep it simple. And when communicating, of course, trivial thing, focusing on topic is very good. But surprisingly, many innovation projects and their team members drift easily into laterally into other topics, because that's how they do things, that's how they innovate, and that is not good in the interaction between the supporting organization and innovation team. So we try to form this communication in this way, to focus on topic, have topical meetings or a lot of time for certain topics, so that we can keep it clear. Of course, writing down everything on the side is good, and if a new topic arises that is important for the project, document that and allot time for it later, right? Another important thing in using these lean tools is to use to lose the social cues. Now, what I mean by that, whenever we interact socially as humans, we assign consciously or unconsciously some social cues to our conversation partners or meeting partners. We might recognize someone as a boss and someone as more experienced than us, or someone as less experienced than us, and that establishes a certain ad hoc culture in our communication, which we find to be detrimental, not good for innovation and supporting innovation. So it is good to have this principle of reduced social cues during the meetings and when we're collaborating on or supporting innovation projects, where we do not modify how we talk, or we don't wrap anything in a nice paper just because we're talking to a boss or we're talking to someone who is older than us. It's important that we keep the communication open, and of course there are some rules to this game. We cannot do everything this way. When we talk, we have to talk in a lean fashion too, and basically focus on facts and data. Facts win all the time. Facts are above any social cues or any preferences or what we like or we don't like. Just a second. Another regarding the lean tools, another anti-pattern, I think that we commonly do, and it's not useful, is trying to use those huge project management tools like digital tools or like huge processing digital databases and such during the innovation phase. Of course, there are situations and when those tools are just necessary, but during the creative and innovative phases and during the process of core innovation, we notice that those tools are cumbersome. They are very seductive. I admit, every fancy approach and any methodology, any way of doing things that we have ever heard gets very quickly built into these digital tools. And, we are left with the feeling of this thing can do anything. All is in there. And these tools are godsend applied in established organizations, but applied in these idiosyncratic environments of innovation, we see that those tools are cumbersome. And pretty soon, we notice more time is spent wrestling with such tools to bend it to our specific needs, of the specific innovation project, than actually using it. We see that when given such a complicated tool or a digital platform for managing projects, team members start to use first, secretly on the side, alternative tools to work with the project, maybe some other tools that they're more familiar with or they're easier to them or so on. And then they because of at that moment we see data disparity. There is some data and knowledge accumulated on our digital super platform, and then there are some notes and knowledge accumulated in individual notes by team members. We see that they start wasting time transferring and that information and data and activities between those tools, and it becomes like onion layers, on top of your super tool that supposedly was to do everything. And very quickly, the shortcomings of this approach become obvious. The data disparity, of course, and fragmentation of knowledge in the innovation project, and especially disparity of knowledge between the support organization and innovation project. We have problems with interchangeable formats in both digital and human readable sense, and quickly the waste is obvious, wasting time to find the right information. Oh, where was it? Is it on this tool or that tool? And to establish which piece of information is the latest or most valuable. It's hard to consolidate knowledge, to perform analysis, and so on. So keeping lean in tools is important. Lean tools, such as pen and paper or simple text files or a flat file organization might not be best for all specific projects in innovation, but being a master at a good simple tool set will be very applicable and widely applicable, and will carry very little or no additional overhead when applied from one innovation projects to the other, and so on. The next concept I would like to present here is flow. Flow is a psychological concept established by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. There are some references on the slides you can check later. It's the psychological concept of flow is that I'm sure everyone experienced that, is that a creative, it's a name for that creative state when we are so focused in what we're doing, creatively or work, we're so focused that rest of the world stops to matter anymore, or at least is not that important. We know from research that 2 uninterrupted hours is the absolute minimum to reach the flow and the meaningful progress. So why am I mentioning this? I noticed that in practice, small and medium companies in innovation projects we've been working with tend to keep meetings brief and short. And even their creative meetings are brief and short. And that is something that does not give the optimal results. In such a short time, we don't have time to launch the idea or launch the issue we have noticed or something and get feedback and work on the matter in a meaningful way. Of course.
Alexander, can I just interrupt? I'm really sorry. There's 9 minutes left, but the reason is for interruption is not because of that. It's because you have the questions, so maybe you can, in order to run out of time, you can see the questions and find a way to answer before the time runs out. So we are really effective. Sorry for that. Okay. There's a question by Christina. So.
Culture, since they have Christina, thank you. I can imagine that losing social cues is especially important in the Japanese culture since they have many rules around the respect of age and other kinds of status. Do you think in Europe we have special need to lose social cues in the work environment? Yes, certainly. We are just not aware of it. We have very strong. I'm sorry, I'm getting echo. Is anyone else? Is it? In Europe, we also have these strong cultural structures, although we are complaining that we're losing them. But yeah, we do. It is people will make this kind of up and down relations with other people based on what they know, what they don't know, or how inclined they are to base their opinions on facts and truth and so on. So yes, it's important. Maybe it's not obvious, but once you train yourself to see these changes in social cues that people take ad hoc. For example, go with your colleague and go through different contexts. Maybe go to the university, then go to colleague and talk to third person. To cafe and talk to third person, and then go to a company and talk with that colleague with the third person. You might see your colleague changing a little bit through these interactions. So yeah, once you start training that, you will training yourself, you'll see that there is a need in Europe. Okay, can I continue? Does this answer in any way?
Yes, please. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so I will just mention about the flow, that for innovative teams, flow is something to stick, to stick to when attempting to make a meaningful progress, and think about these durations. For us, whose job is to provide support for innovation processes, it is something to teach them, and keep in mind that when we are organizing workshops, spaces, and so on. Okay, I will just address the places of innovation, and then we are, I think, finishing. So, space versus the place. Famous quote from Ehud one is, what begins as undifferentiated space becomes place as we get to know it better and know it with value. So space is abstract, physical, measurable. Place, on the other hand, is a space in which we find meaning deeper than just physical measurement. The deeper meaning could be emotional, like belonging, or functional, deducting shelter, and so on. So when supporting organizations provide spaces for innovation projects, this is something to think about. How can these empty spaces or just factual spaces become places for innovations of them, both in real and virtual contexts? So very often we see this as a suggested place of innovation. It's a playroom. This space is supposed to bring back the playfulness, that's lacking in offices. We have these spaces since the Silicon Valley companies decided to do it so in the last century. But we have to know why they made it this way, because the other alternative was this, you know. So when you see this, you know that, sorry, this is actually an emergency room to save whatever the humanity in people is left after these spaces. An interesting fact, these playground spaces are not that innovative at all. And we have solid research showing that. There is a reference on the bottom of the slide. And actually chatting next to a water tank proved to be more productive in the sense of innovation than all of these fancy spaces. So could this be our, you know, innovative space, like a conference room? Well, it's definitely a place. It has some other meaning to it, but not the one to do innovation in. No one is at home here. You know, this place is filled with ideas of maybe hierarchy or negotiations, tug of war. Perhaps it carries reminders of divisions, you know, during the negotiations, or repressed creativity, you know, the corporate stuff, saying only the acceptable and so on. But what we're after is something like this, you know, spaces that have a little bit of everything before. They're a little bit of playground, they're a little bit of meeting room, they're a little bit of office space. So it's a playground, but it has rules. You know, facts and evidence always wins, and no matter the seniority or social role and so on. It's a meeting space, but meeting of equals. There's no boss during the conference telling everyone what to do, and it's fine to say and think things that are, you know, lateral, of unusual, but still on topic. And it is equipped with a simple, lean, hands-on materials and tools that are conducive to quick and efficient articulation of early ideas. Allow us direct communication, as you can see, like this, or quick expression of some ideas. Okay, takeaways. I don't know, not much, but let's see. When supporting organization works with innovation project, make sure to make the zone for communication. Otherwise, we're stepping on each other's toes. We will talk different languages, metaphorically, and we will continuously be in a state of, oh, they don't understand us, we don't understand them. So that zone for communication is important. And that zone is made possible if we keep it simple. If we start small and grow our own ways how to do it, and continuously observe. Of course, us as supporting organizations, we observe the needs of the innovation projects and make small improvements. And we use tools that all can use to articulate themselves. And of course, for those tools and methods that we use, you know, keep your ties loose. Don't you know, stick to them by all means. If something comes up better, you know, that's okay. That's Kaizen. And I don't know, Andre, do I have a little bit of time left?
There is a minute left, but we kind of have a few minutes for ourselves before the break, so we can ask questions. Maybe if you can finish up.
Okay.
So there's 3 minutes left before the break.
My last slide in the presentation is this one. It's about the words of caution when using this approach. I thought it might be valuable to, you know, it's not all nice and pretty with this. So it's a kind of a warning. But we can switch to answer questions too, if. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask the first question. First of all,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you for this presentation, for this approach. I find it refreshing, and it's very nice to observe these things from this point of view. There's quite a lot of things that come to my mind. First of all, like the thing that you mentioned, applying from the Japanese culture and your experience, like they, in a way, you can correct me. You said like things like this, gamba or whatever, when they gather, they have a tool in the maybe the Western culture, maybe for some other purpose, which is the focus groups where people meet, discuss, and things like that. Then,
Yes.
yeah, then these discussion areas like visualization that you said, it's a bit.
Yeah.
There's this Miro platform where people
Yeah.
use it for, so there are like similarities, I think,
No, not similarity. There are equalities. They're the same things, and that's one of the things in the words of caution that I wanted to address. Actually, sometimes organizations think of Kaizen as some kind of a mystic Oriental knowledge, right? So kind of a religion, or some. So, and I hopefully during this presentation I have, I've snuck some cues that to show that it's not true. I mean, Kaizen has been started by an American guy, right? So, and it's not that old, and it's assembly. It's just a convenient assembly, but it's beautiful because it's simple. In its idea, it's simple. It doesn't need a lot of. Once we empirically feel the benefit of it, that's all you need. Okay, so it's just an overarching idea helping us to chain up simple, low-cost methods in a way that it's manageable, sustainable, and efficient. And it's always human-centered. It's fact-based and relies on solid methodology. So it's empirical, right? So there is no Oriental secret knowledge we use here, and that was one of my hidden messages here. Yeah, lots of us use very similar methods. It's how we chain them up that we can call it Kaizen, right?
Yes, great. Okay, so if are there any more questions, or shall we go to break? There's always time for more questions at the end of our presentations. Okay, so thank you again, Alexander, for very interesting perspective and presentation. Oh yeah, there is one question. Sandra, do you want to ask a question?
No, yes. Just to say thank you. Presentation was really great. I enjoyed. Thanks.
You're so kind. Thank you very much for your attention and tolerance.
Okay, so we meet at 10:41. There's 10 minutes for a break. So see you later. Have some rest. All right.
Hi, everybody.
Hi there. Hi there. We can hear you. Just a few minutes, and then we can join.
Perfect. Thank you. I
Right.
just wanted to know if you can hear me.
Good to know.
Christina already said that you have a short break.
Yes,
So
good to know you're here. Yeah, great. See you in a minute or two.
See you.
Okay, just welcome back. We have the next two presentations. The first one is by our partners from Austria. So I won't talk much. I just want to say that the first part of the presentation we had discussion. We had the presentation by Romanian funding agency on the tools applied, and then we had a more theoretical presentation by Alexander. We'll do a similar approach here. So the colleagues from the Austria will show us some of the tools they use for developing the human resources and personnel, and then we'll go to conceptual presentation by Professor Stojanovic. So Bernard, Christina, the microphone is yours. So
Perfect. Thank you very much. Can you see me? I guess you can see me. Perfect.
Yes.
And you can hear me. Wonderful. I'm going to share my screen. Wait a second. Here we go. So can you see the presentation? I guess so. Wonderful, perfect. So thank you very much. Today I'm going to present the use case of our AI Open Information Day. So let me kick off by saying a few things about me. That's me. Obviously, my name is Bernhard Krautschneider. I'm Deputy CIO of the Austria Wirtschaftsservice. So basically what you should know about me is that I'm an IT guy, so whenever I get too technical, please stop me and wave and kind of. I'm not shy, so also if there are any questions, please just ask. So what you also should know about me is that I do love technology and especially the human aspect of digitalization. So when I really love the interface in between when technology meets people. And I'm working roughly a little more than 20 years in the industry, and I worked for an. You can hear me? You can still hear me?
Yeah, it's fine.
Absolutely fine. Wonderful. So I worked for a mobile communications company, worked for Red Bull, the Austrian Railway, and since 6.5 years for the Austria Wirtschaftsservice. Just 2 or 3 sentences about the Austria Wirtschaftsservice. We are Austria's federal promotional bank. So basically what we do is we support the economy and the businesses in Austria with grants, loans, guarantees, tailored services, and also some we call it networking products, where we connect investors with startups and corporates with startups and do the kind of try to bring them all together, as I say. When it comes to our learning journey regarding artificial intelligence, I want to give you a brief history of digitalization within the Austria Wirtschaftsservice. So basically, as you can imagine, we are not all of us are digital natives. So we have people that work for more than 20 years within the company, and there are a lot of people that are quite new. And we have this very interesting duality between fresh people, digital natives, and non-digital natives. So a few years ago, in 2017, just before I came to the company, they started off a digital strategy called Digital Change, which really aimed at bringing all those people together and embracing and try to focusing on digitalization. Basically, they had a lot of tools back then that were quite interesting, but long story short, this was a very good ground when the COVID-19 pandemic hit us, because we had to deal with a lot of growth and scaling, and we had to somehow ramp up all of our services. So since back then, since this core strategy, which was one of 4 core strategies within the company, so it was quite prominent here in Austria Wirtschaftsservice, we completely focused on the value of digitalization. So all of our products are digital. There is no more paper when it comes to loans, guarantees, and stuff like that. And this really was a very good starting point for the current learning journey. So as all of you in 2022, the big AI wave hit us, and what you see here is a chart of Google Trends. So it really kicked off with ChatGPT, although on the whole machine learning and AI topic had been around for a while. So what we try to do is to really anticipate it, and we really try to ride that wave that hit us back in 2022. So what we did was the first step was we tried to establish some kind of AI task force. So at least that's what we call the task force. And basically this was to somehow govern and steer the whole learning journey within the company. So this is all about AI in this case. And the AI task force in our terms is basically a cross-functional team, a very small team, across all the levels of hierarchy within the Austria Wirtschaftsservice. So in the middle there is, for example, Bernhard Sagmeister, who is our CEO, and he in person he participates in all the task force meetings. So there are 2 key factors why I'm telling you about this task force. One of them is it was a success factor for us to have the management buy-in and to have like the backing of the management. And the second one is to have a small compact team to kick off the whole strategy towards that trend and that topic of AI. So we call this two pizza teams. I don't know if you know the term. I think Amazon invented the term. So basically the team is not bigger and you can feed all of the members within the team with two pizzas. So that's why we are only 6 people within the task force to keep it flexible and dynamic. So what we did was we laid out a strategy, and the first step within the whole learning journey was to somehow get a feeling of how big AI was at that point in time within the company. So what we really tried to do is we tried to answer a few questions about the whole organization. Basically, we wanted to know how AI was already being used at that time by the employees and by the workforce. The second one was that we wanted to get a feeling of the competence level. So are we just at the starting point, or are we quite advanced? We didn't know that back then. And the third one was that we somehow had the idea to identify the characters and the people within the workforce who actively try to engage with the topic. So what did we do? We tried to keep it simple, and we just asked. So we sent out a mail in the whole company and said, well, how are you using AI? Please tell us. And if you would like to present your use case to a broader audience within the company, we are willing to give you some sort of incentive and reward. So the key was not to give them money, but to show them appreciation. So that's why we went for gift cards to reward everybody who was willing to share and to present the use case. And then we came up with the whole idea of this open info day, which is basically, it was some kind of event, and we tried to kick off an innovation pool incentive. So the innovation pool is a tool that we use where we collect innovative ideas, and it had been around for years within the company. So we tried to do a new category about AI-related ideas, and we introduced a special incentive regarding those ideas. And we used the event, the Open Info Day, to kick off this incentive. So this was the main idea, the basic idea. This somehow became quite huge because we got a lot of feedback from the workforce, and basically was some kind of low threshold event. So there was no upfront registration. You just could drop into the meeting room, and there were different stations where we showed the use cases and also tried to inform. So we mixed information training with some kind of use case presentation of the people within the company. So it was about knowledge sharing. It also raised a lot of awareness regarding this. And at the bottom of the slide, you see a few of the topics that had been presented at this first Open Info Day. This was, of course, it was about the terminology and the I always say it was about the AI bullshit bingo of IT terms. So we really tried to explain how the whole AI stuff works, and we wanted to make a good starting ground for the employees of the company to present their use cases. There were different use cases. They went from ChatGPT to text suggestions to automatic meeting summaries and stuff like that. So I think you mightn't can imagine what the different use cases were about. So this is how it looked like, and it was really, there were small groups, and it was very chaotic, but this really triggered a lot of interaction in between the people, and it was really good starting ground to the knowledge sharing. So afterwards, we did a feedback survey, and we got a very good feedback from the workforce. So as a next step, we of course tried to develop some of the ideas that came in on the Open Info Day and came in within this innovation pool tool. Basically, we kicked off, I think it was four projects, and I'm not going to go into each project, but the basic idea was to get a project scope out of this. For us, there were a few learnings. One of them was that you should choose your pilot projects and proof of concept projects wisely. We rejected, for example, half of the ideas, but we tried to embrace the learnings about this. So, even though the projects might fail or the ideas might be rejected, we tried to embrace it and to give the feedback to the organization why. Because there might be a very good idea that come into play later on, or that might be value in a few years. But we really want to show the people and be transparent and be open about it. So this worked kind of good. So we repeated it 2 more times. We just changed one thing in the course of this. We started to mix in expert lectures. So we tried to get experts from the industry to give us some kind of input. This is how it looked like. So some of the AI experts within the industry gave it half an hour or 20 minutes talk about this, and then we continued with basically the same idea of this Open Information Day. So what we got out of this was we had 5 really incentivized use cases where people got incentivized for presenting and giving out the information, presenting the information. We've got 7 really good or huge submissions, and we got 4 pilot projects that are currently running within the company. This is where we are now. In the next year, we kind of work on, or in the future, we kind of work on to somehow adapt the organizational structure. So we invented a strategic team and somehow tried to get out of the mix in between operational tasks of the AI task force and the strategic layout. But these were small structural changes for this year's learning journey. So this is it from my side. I hope it was interesting for you. And if you have any questions, please shoot.
Yes, it was extremely interesting, and thank you for this presentation. I found your approach very constructive, because I remember what people were saying when AI started to emerge and when people were starting using that it's going to completely disrupt the workforce and things like that. But you embraced it really to kind of train your staff to how they use it and how it can help you. So my question is based on that observation, and how did you have to restructure the organization? Did you have to bring some new people to kind of, did you do any layoffs? Like, because people were saying people will lose jobs because of the AIs. So how did that? How did the structure of the
company change? That's a very good question. That we did not do any layoffs. We dealt a lot with the fear of layoffs regarding the AI. There is the concept. There is the constant fear about being replaced by AI, and that's also why we try to really embrace and include the people, because we don't think that AI will replace people, but it will change the profile of the jobs. So we really wanted to enable people in their current jobs to use AI to get more efficient. But there was no restructuring in the whole organization. There was no layoffs based on the introduction of AI and artificial intelligence. And there's nothing planned like this. The only restructuring we did was in the organizational setup when it came to how we did the innovation team and how we structured the innovation team, the task force itself. but this was not regarding layoffs. This was more regarding to efficiently try to embrace and to focus on the AI topic. We do think it's going to change everything. We'll see what the future brings, but we don't think right now that layoffs or something like that, that we are going to be replaced. And for me as a technology guy, I use it a lot, and the more I use it, the more I believe that the humans are always going to be there trying to govern what the AI does.
Excellent. Thank you. So, are there more questions, please, on this topic? Okay.
Yeah, because if there are any questions, they should be asked now, because Bernhard cannot stay for the whole time. But or you can also send them.
Yeah, you can also send them afterwards. So there are only two options. One of them is that I covered everything that was interesting, or the other one is that I failed regarding the topic. I hope it's the first one.
No, so, I would ask the questions about the actual AI itself, but then I would be trained by you, but then we shouldn't go there.
we can do that in another session if you want.
Okay.
All right. So thank you very much. If there are any questions, Christina, would you be so kind to, yes, I don't know, if they arise, jot it down and we can talk about it afterwards.
Of course. Thank you so much, Bernhard.
Thank you very much. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. And I'm happy that now also Margit Kreuzhuber is here from the Austrian Business Agency, right? Is it English? Okay, but of course, Andre, you're the moderator, so I give the word back to you.
No, it's your slot, so you do whatever you wanted to do and planned. So it's a presentation of the tools by the Austrian partners, so you can take over again.
Okay, right. So the first presentation was a presentation by our colleague that is also working for Austria Wirtschaftsservice. And as you saw, he was presenting also how we are handling the situation with AI, also concerning the people that are, or the workforce. And now I'm very happy that Margit Kreuzhuber is here from Austria Business Agency. They are, well, I will ask you to present yourself, but it's a different organization. And they are focused on also bringing staff to Austria. And we thought that this could be an interesting approach to hear also from you, because in the project Innovation as a Service, we're also talking about how to make regions that are less innovative, and maybe some people are leaving the region, how we can keep staff or even get people, skilled people to the region. And Austria Business Agency has some good solutions to that.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very happy to speak a little bit about international recruiting today. I will share a presentation with you right now. I hope you can see my slides. Can you see them?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, but it's not in presentation mode yet.
I will make the presentation mode right now. I hope you see now the presentation mode?
No.
Okay, that's strange.
Now yes.
It works. Okay, perfect. Okay, so thank you very much. My name is Margit Kreuzhuber. I'm head of work in Austria. We are one of the three business areas of the Austrian Business Agency. We are the location agency for Austria, and which means we have three different business segments. We have the rather traditional segment of Invest in Austria, which means it is the oldest department from our organization. And the aim of this department is to attract foreign investments, foreign companies to Austria. We have Work in Austria, which is my department. I will speak about this further on. And the third department is Film in Austria, which means we want to make Austria attractive for international film production, which means, for example, I'm at my office opposite the opera, and we already had Tom Cruise climbing down the opera, and which means if something is happening like this, it is very probable that our institution was involved in attracting them to film in Austria. But let's come to the department Work in Austria, which is quite new. We were created in the year 2019. And our aim is to deal with international recruiting, which means that we help Austrian companies to also to employ international labor, and we also want to help international specialists, experts on their way to Austria. So we. For the first thing we have to speak about is what are the preconditions in Austria and what can we also promote internationally. And I think the main point and the positive point is that Austria performs quite well in international rankings. We are #1 concerning quality of life in the EU. We have a very good health infrastructure. And the environment, the climate is very favorable, and we are also #2 in travel and transit, which means these are all aspects and criteria we can also promote when it comes to the promotion of Austria as an attractive place to work and live. But of course, these are quite soft factors, and also the labor conditions are normally very important when it comes to international recruiting. I just brought you some aspects concerning working in Austria. We have a quite elaborated system of collective agreements, which are negotiated between the labor organization and the Chamber of Commerce, which means they build a kind of legal framework for minimum wages. They also regulate the kind of salary increase, the working hours and terminations. We have mandatory health and accident insurance, and which is quite a good aspect of promotion. In Austria, we offer normally 14 monthly salaries. They are also stipulated by the collective agreements. We have sick leave, we have unemployment benefits, we have a state pension and so on, and we have quite favorable conditions when it comes to pregnancy and parental leave. So this means this is the package we are also promoting when it comes to when we are active at fairs, at career events and so on. But of course, with these aspects, we want to create interest in coming to Austria. But the second very important thing is, the first step is to create interest. The second step is also to promote our immigration system. Because of course, when we're speaking about international recruiting, we are mainly dealing with third countries, which means that the people who are interested to come to Austria, they also have to pass the immigration procedure. And here we have in Austria the system of the red card. And of course, we also have the blue card, which a lot of you might know. This is the European immigration system. So if you are a third country national and you want to come to Austria, we offer with the red card or the blue card, we offer always a combination of residence permit and work permit, so that you can be legally in Austria and you have also access to the labor market. The red card and the blue card are aiming at long-term employment in Austria, and the precondition is that there is a binding job offer, which means there has to be an employer who is already interested to employ you and who gave you a binding job offer. If you get this card, you are bound to this one specific employer for the first 2 years. The red card and the blue card are valid for up to 2 years, and afterwards they have to be prolonged to a red card plus. And very important, in my point of view, immigration with family is possible. I would like to stress on this point because I think this is really relevant. If we're speaking about international experts, about international specialists who are really, where's a war on this persons on an international level, there is a big competition. So it's very important that the preconditions for the family members are favorable, because of course, if the immigration system offers good regulations for family members, the probability that also the specialist will decide for the country is quite high. So these are the general rules, and we have different tiers, which means our immigration system has different channels, and every channel has different criteria. In the most of these channels, we have a point-based system, which you might know also from Canada or from Australia or from New Zealand, which means we have objective criteria in the point-based system. And if you reach the minimum point and you have this job offer, the probability is quite high that you get the red card. We have skilled workers in shortage occupations, which means there is a list of shortage occupations which will be published every year. Currently we have 81 shortage occupations on a federal level. There are, for example, occupations such as in the technical field, in the IT sector, in engineering sector, also in the healthcare sector, also in public transportation, for example. And if you have a shortage occupation profession and you have a job offer and you pass the minimum point-based system, then the probability is very high that you get the red card. There are also the other key workers where you have to pass a kind of labor market test, which means that the Public Employment Service is making an examination if there are other persons available on the Austrian labor market. We also have very highly qualified workers as a different channel, and also the graduates. Graduates means that we in Austria, we're very well known for international students. A lot of third country nationals are studying at the Austrian universities. And in this channel, we are addressing graduates graduated at Austrian universities that they can also stay in Austria after their graduation, and they get the kind of red card for university graduates. And of course, as I mentioned already before, we have the system of the blue card. So this means, on the one hand, we have we promote the Austria as a place to work and live. On the other hand, we have the system of the red card as the immigration system, and our task at Working in Austria is to bring everything together and to communicate this and help people to come to Austria. This means we are acting in 4 different aspects, which means we're acting as a kind of info platform. We're offering consultations. We are promoting the work location, and we are also acting as a think tank and as networking institution. And as we are a public institution, all of our services from the Austrian Business Agency are free of charge. This means that we are, as agency, we belong to the Ministry of Labor and Economy, and we are a public institution. I would like to come to the info platform part. If you are looking at our website, workinaustria.com, you find a lot of information about the red card, about the blue card. We are informing a lot about family members, about other residence permits, and also about relocation services, which means about the tax system, the education system, how is it going on with the driving license and so on. This means everything which comes to your mind if you think about coming to Austria, you probably will find on our platform. And it's very important for us that all the information is available in German and also in English. We are offering also digital support tools which are available on our website, which means we are offering the Talent Hub as a very special and as a very new tool which connects international experts, international talents with Austrian employers. Here, for example, Austrian employers have the possibility to promote their vacancies. And on the other hand, also international specialists can upload their CV and they can look for Austrian employers. So we are building a kind of hub, a kind of link between international specialists and Austrian employers. For example, you can also activate a kind of job agent, which means if you are, for example, an international specialist, then you can say, I'm looking for jobs in, I don't know, quality management. I have 5 years of professional experience and so on. And then you get, every time when there are appropriate vacancies posted on the Talent Hub, you get the information that the new appropriate vacancies available for you. So here
there is actually just one remark.
Yeah.
There is one question from Andre.
Yes, please. Andre,
Yes,
please.
well, I said I would give a 10-minute indication, so this is it. But I also want to ask a question because something came to my mind and I thought of just asking while you are having the presentation. I'm very much interested in how do you, is there a process of, you said there are think tanks and everything is involved. What's the process of finding the requirements for highly skilled jobs? And what's the process, for example, the Talent Hub, when you know who you particularly want? For example, that can be useful for something that you discover in the innovative processes, maybe some particular skills that you would require. Is there a way in your organization where you discover the need for that and then you apply it? And you said there are think tanks, so I just wanted to connect that if that's relevant.
Yeah, okay. Maybe as I mentioned before, we have different channels to come to Austria. And for example, in the shortage occupation list, there are at the moment 81 professions, and a lot of professions, of course, are linked to the needs every profession is linked to the need on the labor market. And of course, we have a lot of occupations in the field of technology or in the IT field. And the benefit of this shortage occupation list is that you can also communicate in both directions internationally, that there is a need for, I don't know, software developers and so on. You can communicate this, and I think this gives you a kind of transparency. But you can also communicate internally in Austria, for example, that you can also explain the immigration system, that you can say, okay, we are targeting our immigration, our labor migration in a direction that people who are really in need or who are really, there was a big need of the companies, that we want to attract specifically these people. I think this is a very, how can I say, it's a very good way to create a kind of transparency. And if we're looking also at the Talent Hub, you find a lot of vacancies also in this technological field, and we are very happy that also a lot of people who are posting and uploading their CVs on the Talent Hub, they are also matchable in this direction, which means we think that the system also works, and we also reach the right people also with the Talent Hub. And as a second tool, which is also very important, maybe it also sticks to your question, is the immigration guide, because I think it's very important to offer a possibility that someone who is, for example, is interested to come to Austria can make a kind of pre-check or a quick check if he or she would be eligible for the Red Card. And with this tool, we offer this kind of a very fast orientation, that you can indicate, okay, I'm software developer, my employer would pay me, I don't know, 3,500 euros or something like this. You give in, you fill in your work experience, your age, and so on, and then afterwards you get a very fast reply, and you get the information. Are you eligible for the Red Card? Yes or no, and for which kind of Red Card? So you get the very fast orientation. I think this is really, really relevant, and this tool is very often used also to get this impression. But of course, there are also a lot of questions which are relevant if we want to decide for a country. For example, education system. What is the education system for my children, for example? Or if you're already a little bit further in your process, I have a driving license. What shall I do in Austria? Do I have to transform it? Can I use it? What is the procedure, for example? What is about the tax system? What is about the pension system, and so on? And we offer, with our personal guide, we offer a very comprehensive information. Everything is available on our website. But we also know this is really comprehensive, and not every information will be relevant. for everyone. So this means if you are looking at the personal guide, you can bookmark sections. You can say, okay, for me, the education system is relevant, also the tax system, and I have a cat at home. I would like to know everything about bringing pets to Austria, for example, to bring my cat. So this means you can bookmark this section, and then you can get a kind of personal guide with only the relevant information in your email. You get a kind of PDF which you get in your email, and then you have your personal guide with only all the information which are relevant for you. And with these tools, we really want to cover already at the first glance a lot of information and to customize them to the specific needs of the audience. And this is the section of the info platform. But of course, this is we know that one size does not fit all, which means then we are going a little as one step further. Then we're coming to the consultation process. For example, if you made this quick check concerning the immigration guide, then you might get the information, yes, you are eligible for the red card. But then the next question is, okay, but what does it mean? How is the procedure? Which documents do you need? And so on. And there we are offering free guidance with our immigration and residence services, which means we have experts in my team who really know everything about the immigration and procedure in Austria. And we're very well connected also to the competent authorities. We know what is really relevant in the procedure, and we offer a kind of guidance throughout the whole procedure, with our aim that if you are asking for our guidance, then we bring you to the point that you have all the documents which are necessary available, and that the authority just have to look at the paper and can take the decision very fast. So with our service, we also want to make the life a little bit easier of the people working in the residence authorities and also in the public employment service, that we offer a guidance for the preparation for the papers. And also here, I would like to stress out the relevance of family members. Also in this direction, we also offer free consultation for family members, which means if someone gets a job offer from an employer in Austria, we do not only counsel this person, but also the immigration procedure of the whole family. And we are also offering relocation services in this sense that, for example, if someone is asking us, okay, I would like to know more about the education system and about the schooling system because I will go to one specific region in Austria, then we also give individual advice, and we also connect to our partner organizations in the regions. And we also have it's a kind of specific thing. We're also offering a kind of approval seal for international advancement of women. So this is the section of the personal consultation. But of course, as I mentioned before, we do not only counsel, but we also promote Austria. And we're promoting Austria as an attractive work location, which means that we are targeting specific sectors and professions. We cannot target everything because, of course, this would also be too much. We have also restrictions concerning our resources, which means we are targeting professionals in the IT sector, in electronics, electrical engineering, in mechatronics and life sciences, which means
Margit,
we are...
sorry to interrupt. I'm very sorry because we
please.
had lots of questions. Maybe just to keep the whole thing under the control time, and maybe I can, while you're at this point in presentation, maybe I can involve Alexander because he made a comment in the chat. So maybe
Please.
and the question. So maybe Alexander can. He made an observation and the comment. So please, Alexander, if you want to just, and then we can wrap it up just to be on the time. I'm really sorry for that.
No problem.
Okay, I'll try this way. Just a second. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so,
Yes.
This is really beautiful how individuals can benefit from this well thought out system. I'm interested in the other direction, how government or governments, local governments in Austria benefit from the insights you gather from processing all this.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, of course, this is also the role of think tank and networking, which I mentioned with our functionalities. Of course, we get a lot of, how can I say, we are deep diving into the whole system in Austria, which means that, for example, that we are in direct contact with the competent authorities. And if we discover, for example, there is a need of clarification, for example, then we also report this to the competent authorities and say maybe it would be good to make more clarification. Or, for example, we had a very big reform, a legal improvement of the red card system, and we were really actively involved in this procedure, as we could also propose some kind of involvement how can I say it? Of improvements for the whole system.
Thank you.
So we are
Excellent.
really, and we are also connecting the authorities, as we are acting as a kind of information platform. And we're not only connecting in Austria, but, for example, we have some agreements with internationally, for example, with the Philippines, or also with Indonesia, and there we're also acting closely together with the authorities and with all the stakeholders in these countries.
Great. I mean, all the insights you have, it's perfect evidence for evidence-based policy making. Yeah, please teach my country how to do it.
Okay, can I wrap it up, please? And I'm really sorry for this. Just to keep on the timeline, and then we can maybe, Margit, maybe we can come back to ask some questions. If you want to say something to finish the presentation, fine. But we have to move to the next presentation to be under the timeline.
Maybe I
Yes.
would like, I just want to add one slide which could be very relevant for you. You see here the services along the customer journey. Here maybe I can make it quite visible what we are offering. So we're promoting Austria as a work location. We're offering events. We are connecting Austrian companies with international experts with the talent hub. If there is a match, we're offering immigration and residence services for the legal procedure, for the immigration procedure, but there are also the soft components, which means also a tax system, education system. So we're offering guidance with relocation, and we are also offering some services in Austria, like quality and location advice. But for me, the main message is, I think if you're speaking about international recruiting, it is very relevant that you offer you offer a lot of services in one place, that the people are not very, how can I say, once they have to consult this place and the other one, then it could be a little bit of chaotic. And here I think we tried to offer a kind of well-established system that one international specialists get guidance from one specific point, like a one-stop shop.
Yeah, I must say it's very comprehensive, and it includes all the services needed. So I'm open for questions. Sorry to interrupt and stop you, because we just want to finish up the presentation. If people want to stay after 12:10, we can come back and ask more questions.
I have one question, actually.
Okay.
Thank you again, Margit. Do you have any special focus also on bringing staff and workforce to rural areas in Austria, or is it like only Vienna, or like how are you dealing with that? Because I guess in Austria we also have this issue.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mm-hmm. This is a very relevant question, but I think, like in many other countries, the capital is quite attractive, of course. In Vienna, I'm living in Vienna. It's a really beautiful city. But of course, there are a lot of job opportunities all over the country. And to communicate the rather rural area, we offer at the Talent Hub a kind of job map. It's called Job Map, which means that we are showing Austria in a whole. So you can, for example, look for the job. As I will stick to the software engineer or software developer. And if you indicate software developer, then you find in which regions this profession is available. So we would like to offer kind of transparency, that everyone sees that not only Vienna is offering attractive jobs, but also in the rural fields. And we're very close, in very close contact also with the location agencies of the regions, which means that we are also we are working very close together to promote also the regions, and that you get really good overview about all the possibilities also.
Thank you. That's absolutely great. And, thank you for this presentation, to both presentations by the Austrian partners. So
Thank
let's
you.
proceed.
So again, also the same thing, Margit has to leave as well, but if you have any questions, either very much now, or you can send us an email and I will forward it to you, and you can reply.
All right. Thank you, Margit, again. And
thank you.
Thank you, Christina, also. So,
thank you.
So let's go to the next one. I have a pleasure to introduce a member from our organization, and who is Professor Stojanovic, who will take the microphone now. And yeah, hello, Professor.
Okay, do you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Why I have the problem with the sharing entire screen? Okay. Do you see my screen?
No, Professor.
Yeah, it's your screen, but the presentation is not chosen.
Okay. I will.
Now it's okay.
Do you see now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Only to see what is my with my animation transitions and so on. Okay, I will speak you about our experience from Montenegro, in some sense about, let's to say, what we are doing here in Montenegro and so on. As you know, that Montenegro is a very small country and also involved in all these initiatives and all these, let's to say, innovation actions, and it is very useful member of European community, small but very active. I am very happy to be invited by Andrei and Igor to present you some, let's to say, our opinions about technological entrepreneurship for developing countries, with the case study of Montenegro, with the case study of our, let's to say, small ecosystem that we have in Montenegro. First of all, I will speak about some introduction. Then about, I am really sorry that something happened with my presentation. I will put it like it is now, because I don't know, it automatically went out. Okay. Technological entrepreneurship for developing countries, digital economy as a chance, our story as a case study, and conclusion. As you know that some technological entrepreneurship is quite different than, let's to say, entrepreneurship in the classical term that we know. Everyone can be entrepreneur, but to do with technological entrepreneurship, you need some additional skills. As you see here, it is a fusion of many conditions and many factors and so on, and really from the human resources that we are speaking now up to the manufacturing you should to do if you are doing it, technological entrepreneurship and so on. Then it is common naturally that we have now in Europe, let's to say, a lot of projects implementators from developing country, but few of them are dealing with a really quite new technology and so on. It is the complex job. As you know, the key elements of technological entrepreneurship are innovation, risk-taking, market focus, scalability. It is not simple management, it is a risky job and full of innovation and other preconditions. But this technological entrepreneurship for developing countries has, let's say, some benefits, can bring some benefits that we are trying to show on Montenegrin case. First solving local problems, then overcoming traditional development, creation economical jobs for the young people, access to the global market, attracting investors and so on, improving governmental and policy support and so on. But also we have some, let's to say, problems as always and anywhere. First, the problems is how to access to the capital, infrastructural gaps, including, let's to say, standard infrastructure and human infrastructure. Then regulatory problems because we are not still familiar with technological entrepreneurship and so on. Behavioral gap, we do not have so much technological entrepreneurship culture and so on. And risk and fear or failure. That is one big problem that our people traditionally do not like to risk and they are afraid of fail that can happen. Let's see now, honestly, how this technological entrepreneurship can be seen in developing countries. We are telling that digitalization is big chance. That is really true. But we should to have two sides of the coins. The first one is software world. Software world is unit world. You can do software everywhere for everyone, anytime, whenever you want to do the software. You do not need any preconditions to do software and so on, and to be part of digital world. But in hardware world, I'm not saying hardware in this manner of the hardware that we know, computers and so on. Hardware is, let's to say, technology, cars and so on. The other things, energy and so on, the things are quite different. You cannot, let's to say, reach the level of developing countries from one of developed countries from one of developing countries in this sense. That is the reason that naturally, the people are dealing with the software and digitalization. But really, digital technologies are chance for developing countries that I told you. No major prerequisites are needed. Education is also present in some form. That really honestly said many startups in developing country are dealing with education. Still education and some type of technological transfers are their main business. Even doing the projects, they are mostly doing dissemination, education and so on, promotions and so on. But there is good for some digital technology linked to sustainable local ecosystems, tourism, agriculture, clean environment, advanced services, and so on. Also, you can reach some level of integration of some smart application for high-tech systems, but only some level of involvement of developing countries in system integration of that I told you before, these hardware-related things and so on related to the high technology. But as you know, the other things is that digital technology are based on high technologies. For example, computer systems and computer systems based on the chips. But see how we have situation in this area. There is one Achilles heel of development high technologies in small countries, even in developing countries and so on. If you see example of production of the chips and high technology, you will see up to now only one country is possible to make machines for them to make the chips. Of course, we have few American companies in some field of this, but ASML, the Dutch company, is the only one company that is capable to make machines that are making the chips. This is a good example about the gap in the technology between developing countries and developed countries, high developing countries in cutting edge technology in the pillars that are fostering the development. But technological entrepreneurship in our countries found good position in digital economy. As you know, connectivity, human capital, use of internet service, integration of digital technologies, digital public services, and so on. And lastly, artificial intelligence. And the things in these technologies are not bad in our countries. As you saw, in South European East countries are not so much behind this average of European Union in digital adaptation index. You can see that is nearby this index, and that is good and chance for us. Also, smart ecosystems between Industry 4.0 and Industry 5.0 in the term of digital economy is also chance for small country that we try to use as it is Montenegro. You can see that the some good things of the Western Balkan countries, our region, in digital economy are that we still have good infrastructure developed enough. All populations are familiar by communications and the internet. The use of internet is on the satisfactory level and so on. Some countries like Montenegro, they have even on the paper legislatives in the about supporting digital economy. Majority of small and medium enterprises are digitally oriented, and sometimes people are coming to me from West countries. They are, let's to say, exciting how much are good conditions in those small countries regarding digital economy and let's to say digitalization. But still we have many problems. I want to point them. The first one is influence of the politics. Less human capital to understand transfer from industry 4.0 to 5.0. Banking and shopping are rising services, electronics, commerce, and so on. We have also problem about subventions and tax policies because our, let's to say, government and so on, our ministries and policy stakeholders could not understand the meaning of advances of high tech. Brain drain is still dominant. The practical orientation is in fact very poor, because I'm coming from university and so on. Practically, we do not have practical training of the students, and especially the same situation is, believe me, in the Europe. Dishonest support of the huge company that have monopole in this area in our countries and so on. If you see electro distribution systems, if you see telecom providers and so on, those are big company, big factory of the monies, but they dishonest support startups and support those innovation, let's to say, potential. They are support to have some, let's to say, reclama and advertising about their social orientation and social caring, but not more than this. Then we have some problems with e-commerce. Some of countries are not have PayPal, or state grants for innovation and stuff are underdeveloping. It is going better, but are still covered by politics, and they are seeing to give money for everyone from other regions, countries, and so on, other political orientation, and so on, in order to give some, let's to say, geographically and politically gain distribution of the money. No research activities at all in the industry, because industry is let's to say, destroyed in some sense of view, and also no many startups in our country that are dealing with really high technologies and really implementation of high technology expect digitalization, even health service and so on and so on. As you see, the threat cities, small SWOT analysis are financial risk, mentality problems, problems of non-competent manpower, and so on. But low entrepreneurial culture. Then we have problem with some political situation, stability, and sometimes nationalism is blocking the things and so on. But I see it, this especially this digital economy as our chance, and you see how many things we can cover, and many stakeholders and involved things we can cover with this type of economy. We are especially inside this economy with our verticals: digitalization, transport, digitalization, environmental, digitalization, agriculture, and digitalization, anything, everywhere. And also we are doing education, training, research, development, network, and social prototyping, commercialization. That is very important now, is emphasis on disaster management, legal aspects, and sustainability. Our story, let's to say, is started 2012, when we established Montenegrin Association for New Technology, my association that I am president, because I couldn't find on universities, let's to say, good climate for really startup position and startup and really development. Universities are conservative, that are still working, but I can guarantee that universities cannot bring progress, and it is stereotype in Europe that universities can bring progress and so on and so on. It is not true. Even young people cannot bring the progress, even old people cannot bring the progress. It is the matter of one unity work and one fusion. Then we implemented this association. This association makes some, let's to say, project that was possible in this time, embedded computing me. and then we now switch to Meconet.me and so on. We have NGO, we have startups, we have networks with Andres and Igor's cooperation and so on, association. But I found this from the Nobels that are coming to Montenegro. I mean that brought 2-3 Nobel laureates in Montenegro, and one of them was Dan Shetman, the father of technological entrepreneurship in Israel from Technical University of Haifa, that give me, let's to say, motivation to do it. Our core activities are high tech in embedded computing, cyber physical systems, Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence. In fact, transfer of science and knowledge to education, popularization, dissemination, and high-tech systems and product integration in some phase. Okay, as you see that we are very popular even in high-peak organization of the Europe, that it is one place that they are, let's to say, very satisfied with the situation in Montenegro regarding these fields that is developed by common initiatives and so on and so on. And you can see trademarks and products and so on of different kinds that was possible to develop in one small country. We extend now our cooperation with ADZ then to do National Innovation Hub based on the real and quite different strategy. What is this strategy in our methodology? We have today many methodologies about it, but about how we can improve our, let's to say, innovation, how we can improve our work and so on. But I am enough old to believe in many of these strategies. From my opinion, no methodology to be innovative and useful. There is no methodology. As well, no training to be innovator. There is no training to be innovator. But there are some preconditions to reach success. Knowledge, experience, hard work, team, human resources, networking, fusion of technologies, and so on and so on. Sometimes when you turn your hobby in the job, it becomes work. And that happened in our case, in my, Igor's, Andrei. We turned our job, our hobbies in the job, and we like our job. Character, knowledge, social intelligence, perception, and skills are also preconditions. Do not run for easy money. The problem is not with the projects, but with projects-focused thinking. That is one big problem in developing country. In developing country, they think that by projects they can earn easy money. And project finish, they are doing report, administrative things are closed, but less remind for the future development of the country. From some my experience, the project related amount in money are, let's to say, in this functional dependence about regarding tangible outcomes. As projects has more money, the proud outcomes are less because other problems are big, and you should to close the construction and you do not care for tangible outcomes and what will remain. Our strategy was useful in our case. Start with individual project. Every one person can start with some small individual projects. Extend this project to the company or team level. Take and analyze the results, impacts, and potential of your individual or company-based project. Put few 1,000 euros like company and individuals in your projects, and do it something that you can prove that you can prove the results. Apply for grant to circle idea, to idea as a whole, and then the outcomes will be sustainable for these grant and so on, because from your experience, small projects, individual projects, you will select, let's to say, more feasible ideas and so on. But do not forget always to have the core business. The problem of some small companies and startups in our countries, they do not have core business. They depend on the money that they receive. It is, you can see every day Elon Musk, those Zuckerberg and so on, they have many different ideas, visionary ideas and so on, but they have core business, and they spend 90% of their free time on the some, let's to say, visionary ideas and so on that are very nice, but those 10% of their activities before and now doing for them core business. Use projects to do some core business in order to do this circular ecosystem in the around. Okay, what is the conclusion? That is, this digital economy is a really chance for developing country. No other economies expect tourism, agriculture, and so on. Not high-tech technology. It is very difficult to reach the level of some countries, but it gives us good opportunity to be part of, let's to say, successful world. Technological entrepreneurship is key moment. We do not have now enough technological entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs. I see the students, they do not like to be technological entrepreneurs. They like to find the job in the state-owned company, in the government, in the ministries, and so on, to go outside, as we see that we have problem with population all over the world, and there is not matter of the development of these countries. It is matter of those developed countries, their necessity and the lack of the population to do not say about educated people and so on. Human resources are dominant in doing it, but we should to know that we need other preconditions and so on. Thanks to Andre and so on, I found very useful this workshop. Presentation was very excellent and so on. Or skilled people, and it is one, let's to say, not common, and not. It is one of the rare workshops that I heard the people that are really speaking something that they knows and they felt. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you for this experienced and very deep, insightful presentation about the innovation culture and opportunities from the angle of Montenegro. It indicates that we have 5 minutes left, so hopefully the thing will not cut off. But before that, let's proceed. Let me just ask a first question, please, and then I can give it to the maybe others if you want to ask question. Your concept of digital economy as a chance is very interesting. And I know from our personal discussions, you see Montenegro as a potential for maybe digital nomads, for people coming over to do like things like internships and things like that. So really, you see like some of the things in the region being distributed, and smaller countries like Montenegro taking some skilled labor, maybe from the outside, working in the Montenegro, and countries such as Montenegro, because of the better, cheaper, for example, life conditions, ease of access to many things and so on. So this is in a way, digital economy as a chance, as you said, concept being distributed in many regions, right?
Yes, we are really supported by the Europe with great ideas and many projects, and it is easier to take the projects in Montenegro because of small country. These small countries have the good opportunities regarding smaller countries, smaller problems, and so on. But do you know, equally we have support from European Union, like politicians. Politicians could not have such support like other, let's to say, digital economy and so on. I am telling that o anthropocene politikon zone, the man is a political animal. That is true, but those are two contradictory things that we have. That is supporting governmental because of the some, let's to say, peace and so on, in order to have and do not support enough the people and really progress. But I think that Montenegro is one, let's to say, good example about development of startup community and the other things, and could be, let's to say, like Slovenia and so on. And maybe it is our mentality like this. And I hope that we can be some, let's to say, small tiger, especially in digital economy, that it is, let's to say, chance for everyone. So today we can sit here and use the Meet and Zoom and no problem, but we cannot do the rocket and so on.
Okay, thank you. So are there any more questions, please? Yeah, Alexander, thank you. Yes, go on.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Stojanovic. I absolutely agree on having core business as essential precondition for innovation, as a kind of safety net. But what is your opinion, taking into account the overhead workload that just running a company incurs on small companies? What would be the sweet spot? What's the size of the company in terms of people or finance that starts to be viable to take that step into innovation?
I will, Alexander, surprise you, because I am also the professor of technological entrepreneurship on the University of Montenegro, but I am always telling to my student, I'm not professor to be professor. I run those entities for the years, and I know the things. My opinion is that the company should be small unit and based on the traditionally approach in the business of the four old nations doing the business. The first one are Jewish people, the second one are Greeks people, the third one is Armenian people, and the fourth one is Roman people. How they answer now to all stories about necessity. Everyone is writing email to everyone. We have a lot of managers, referents, and so on, the big companies and so on. They answered by small companies. Those are companies that sustain through the time. 2,000-3,000 years. This type of business is excellent example. And then you will have less risk if you spread as much as possible, and you spread, then your risk is high, especially in our countries that do not have the culture of the bankrupt. We do not have the culture of the bankrupt and so on. someone on the West can have business and close the business and go to drink coffee. In our culture, is not like this. But if you see through the history, you cannot see sustainable high technology company. Tell me one high technology company that is sustainable. It is few companies. Nokia was big company, now is small company. Ericsson also, and so on also. But if you see some family companies and even those companies that are doing alcohol and cigarettes and so, they are very sustainable companies and so on. The business and technological entrepreneurship is not daily workshops and those stories. It is very complex problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think people are leaving. We're running out of time, but we managed to do everything, and we had also some questions which were interesting. And I think if there are no more questions, I can then thank Professor. Thank you, Professor Stojanovic. Thank everyone, all the partners who are here and who have left us because they have to go to another meeting. And I hope the training was useful to all of us, and it will be shared on the video, and I can conclude our training. Say bye.